Hello everybody, Elemental Designs here, and today I'm going to be demoing some of the products that I received from Decoart. I'm going to be using their gesso, their matte medium, and also their modeling paste. I'm going to be using a small portion of each of the three sheets that are inside of the decoupage paper pack that I got, and I'm also going to be using the stencil. I'm going to be using the second stencil in the set. It actually brings two, and I'm very excited to show you what I create with using these products. I mean, it came out so nice. So I hope that you enjoy watching this video and follow along, and I will try to break everything down that I do as I do it. Okay, so we're ready to begin. The first thing that I'm going to do is open up my matte medium. And I have to tell you guys, I love the consistency of this matte medium. It is like smooth butter. It was so nice to work with. It did an awesome job, decoupaging the papers down. I didn't really get any ripples on it, so I was really happy about that, especially being placed on something like corkboard, which, as you guys know, is not really the sturdiest of surfaces. I was really expecting to get a lot of wrinkles and crinkles on it, but it actually, spread itself out very nice, very smooth, very evenly. So I was really happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is actually cut the strip, of the paper. I'm going to start off with this one, and then I'm going to decide a little bit later on to add a little bit of each. I guess this is my first one. I figure why not, put a little bit of everything on it. So I'm gonna cut these down to size, and I'm not really paying any, care or concern, because at the end of the day, they're not really going to show through all the way through, um, but you'll see that a little bit further down. So I'm just gonna start putting all the matte medium down and kind of layering all of the different pieces of the decoupage paper. And I am gonna start speeding up. Probably notice that I start to speed up through most of this process because it can be a little bit of, it can take a little bit of time to get everything down exactly the way that you're trying to get everything down. It just take a little bit of time, but it's very well worth it. But I do not want to take up your whole entire day, so we're gonna go ahead and just speed through this real quick. But like I said, I'm just pretty much layering everything down and cutting, different size pieces here and there, and just putting everything, in order. I'm going to try to cover the whole entire corkboard. And I really like working with their papers. They're very thin, but they don't break once you start applying the matte medium, which I thought was really good, because I was actually kind of worried when I saw how thin they were, but they actually held up very well to the matte medium, and they didn't tear on me. And again, like I said, they were kind of pretty much wrinkle free, so that was, a plus. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut some more pieces. I'm gonna cut a small strip from each one of the papers. I'm gonna start off with this one for now. And my goal is just to cover the entire piece. I wasn't sure what was gonna actually show through or not once I applied the waxes. So I did try to keep in mind a little bit of, okay, let me try to show a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But at the end of the day, it didn't show through, but it's fine with me because the product and the end result was still phenomenal. I really liked how everything came out, so it was a-okay with me. I'm actually new to working with the deco art products. I've never really worked with them before, and getting paints and things like that was always, somewhat of a struggle. So for being an artist and wanting to, create 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and, not have the financial means all the time to, buy the good products, invest into those good products, I ended up actually making a lot of things myself, like the gessos and the paste and all of those things. But I was never 100% satisfied with the results. I was okay with it because for doing it yourself, it's like, yeah, you did it. But overall, it was always there was always that one thing that you don't like. I don't like this or I don't like that. But for the most part, working with these products, I was very, very excited. Because it's my first time actually working with genuine matte medium, genuine gesso. So I really, really liked the effects of it all and how everything came out. So I'm almost done here with the covering up of the cork board, um, with the papers. I'm still a little bit undecided as far as where I want to put this, but I figure, hey, why not? This is a nice large area, and I really, really want to move on to the next steps. Um, the most exciting part of this for me was actually, getting to play with the metallic lustre waxes. And wait till you see the consistency and I mean how it looks. They are gorgeous, and I wanted to see how it works on paper. Because I know that, when you think of a wax, the first thing that you think about is, oh, I'm going to apply it on wood. Um, but actually, it worked wonderful on paper. And I'm going to actually show you something that I did yesterday while I was kind of opening them up and getting myself ready, as the ideas were kind of popping into my head of what I wanted to do. And I started kind of playing around with them, and I just I fell in love with them instantly. And I said, this is awesome. I mean, I was so excited. I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to have so much fun, and actually showing you guys as well, the different things that you could actually do that you don't even think about. Um, Sometimes is the most unorthodox, things that you can actually create with, and come out with the most beautiful results. So here I am just kind of cutting up on these papers and trying to get this whole situation kind of, finished through. And we're almost done with this part of the process, and it actually dries very, very quickly. That's another thing that surprised me as well. It dried very, very quickly. It still gave you, I mean, it doesn't give you that much room to play with. So once you lay your papers down, either be happy with it or, put something else over it, because it really doesn't give you that much time to kind of like fiddle with it. You have literally like maybe microseconds, to kind of like lift it up. Well, maybe a little bit more than microseconds. But yeah, it does dry up rather quickly once it's on. Actually, most of the products that I used today, um, with the exception of the modeling paste, dried up really quickly. I don't have a heating tool, so I actually have to let everything air dry. So that actually took a little bit of time when I was working with the modeling paste itself. But again, I was so excited that I didn't care. Like, even though it felt like it was taking a while, maybe that was just, my anxiety taking over, and I'm just like, hurry up and dry so that I can go ahead and apply the waxes. But this was really, really fun, so I didn't mind the wait. I actually have to think about, investing or trying to find somewhere or another a heating tool, because what we have here is, the hair dryer, and that thing is huge. It's like a 10-pound baby. So that's no fun to work with, especially when you're working on these kind of projects. So I believe we are done when it comes to the Mod, not the Mod Podge, the decoupage part of it. Um, and we will soon be moving on to the next step. So as you can see, it came out really nice. I mean, overall very smooth, very even. It coats very well. So I was very happy with the result of using um, the product. So the next thing to do is we're going to be adding some gesso. Now, when it came to the gesso, I mean, oh my god, it's like whipped butter, and yet it holds its it holds a peak. So it was really good. It's a nice consistency, and it spreads so beautifully. I mean, I think that for my first time using a real gesso product, I'm gonna go for this product over and over and over again because I just loved the way that it not only felt as far as when you lay it down, it's so smooth, but it spreads so evenly and it coats so well. Like you don't even have to go over and over and over a piece. Um, I mean, it just coats beautifully. So what I'm gonna do here is actually just kind of spread it out. I'm not really caring too much about where I'm putting it. I'm just kind of like putting it everywhere, and I'm putting it in a very thin kind of layer, just kind of brushing very thinly. I'm just dabbing lightly into the gesso, and I'm just kind of putting it everywhere. So more or less this is just to give it that extra coat uh, to kind of just securely seal everything because again I am working with corkboard, so I just wanted to make it as durable and as sturdy as I possibly could, and this was great because it still allowed it to be flexible, but I did feel a difference as far as the durability of the corkboard itself. So more or less I'm just gonna spread this out, kind of everywhere, um, and just try to give it a nice, coating. And I did try to keep some of the elements, visible because again, I didn't realize that the metallic luster was going to be so opaque and you wasn't gonna be able to see anything through it. So in my mind, I thought that I will be able to see some of these elements, kind of like peeking through, but I'll see what I'll do for the next project as far as using the metallics but still allowing them allowing some of the back elements, the background elements to kind of show through. So that's pretty much it as far as me applying the gesso on the cork board, and again it dries really quick so it didn't really take much time before I was able to go on to the next step. This has been such a wonderful experience, and I'm actually writing stuff down now as far as different things that I want to show you guys as far as techniques that I'm going to be trying and experimenting with, and wanting you guys all to join. Um, and this is going to be like my summer fun with deco art or something along the lines of that, I'm going to call it, or do it yourself using Decoart. So it's gonna be something like that. But I'm gonna be doing various different projects using some of the products that I received, and I know that I have other products that are going to be coming to me later on. Um, but I'll show you guys those once I get them, and then I'll probably figure out a whole new line of things to do when I do receive those products. But for right now, with the ones that I do have, I am having a ball. The stance was really good. It's a nice plastic, but it doesn't really pick itself up. Like I don't know how to say it. Like usually when I with the stencils that I've bought before, the stencils that I've had before, whenever I go to apply you know the modeling paste over it to kind of like get everything smooth, sometimes I will it will kind of go under the film, or it will kind of buckle, or little edges will get picked up, and it wouldn't, do it all the way through the way I wanted it to. But with this one, it was actually pretty good. I guess the combination of their stencils with their modeling paste is a really good working relationship because when I put down the modeling paste over the stencil, I mean, they came out perfect. I have no complaints. They came out perfect. The stencil laid down just right. Um, I just had to lightly hold it and everything was fine. I mean, you can always tape them if you want for more security. But I found that even when I did that in the past, it was always an issue. Sorry about that, you guys. I kind of had to go and close the window because they seem to be doing repairs outside. But yeah, so I'm gonna be using this modeling paste. I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And the consistency is really good. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the glare, but it's really glossy. Um, you know, it's very well pigmented. It's very smooth and easy, almost like that butter when it's kind of soft, like when you leave the butter out, that it's not necessarily melted, but it's got that nice soft consistency. It's spread out very well. It was easy to kind of pick up the excess with the card and just get as much of it into those grooves as possible. And it did a very leveled job. So I was really, really happy with it. And to do this, I'm actually using one of my Virgin Mobile cards. Um, I do have snippets of credit cards and things like that, but since this was such a long word, I wanted to get as much of it and as evenly as possible. I just decided to use the card. Usually I just have them laying around once I've, kind of amped up my phone, if you will. But yeah, as you can see, there's not much left over once you use it, and you don't need a lot. I mean, a little really does go a long way. So you don't need to like put a whole heaping spoon of, of the paste in order to get the desired look. A little bit really does go a long way. When it's wet, you'll see it nice and white, but once it dries, it almost looks like it blends into the background. It's really, really hard to see where it is, so but it dries really well and it stays flexible, because that's one of the things that I was, kind of worried about. I'm like, is it gonna crack with the cork board, because of the flexibility of the cork board, is it gonna crack? But actually, once it dried, I kind of moved it all over the place just to make sure, and it stayed put. It didn't crack a little bit, so I was really happy with that as well. And I just love, love, love the design of this stencil, especially that key. It's really, really pretty. I still wasn't sure like what the concept was of what I was going for. I was just wanting to try out different elements of the stencil with different mediums and just see, how everything kind of came together. But I did end up choosing the word dream, the word and the word love, and then obviously the key. Because if you can dream and if you can love, then there's no door that is closed to you. There's no impossibilities. Everything is an option and everything is available. So here I just kind of wipe off the excess, and whatever doesn't fit into the groove goes back into the jar before it dries out. Um, and again, this is the one thing that kind of took a little bit longer to dry, but it was very well worth the wait. I mean, it came out perfect. I have no complaints about it. It came out perfect. So again, for trying this out for the first time, it was like, wow. It's not so much that I'm a frugal crafter, but when you have a family and you have other responsibilities and you have things that you have to, take care of and make sure that all those things are right, you kind of have to put yourself on the back burner. So I was very delighted when Decoart actually accepted me in and supplied me with all of these products, because it would have been almost an impossibility for me to get them on my own. So this kind of made my year actually, and my birthday is in a couple weeks. So it was like a happy birthday from God, if you will. For those of you that believe, and for those of you that don't, then you could call it something else. But for me, um, everything comes from up above, because there's definitely a higher being out there. Um, I'm a firm believer in that. So for me, Spirited was actually, right on the target. And it's actually also very easy to clean up. If you do make a mistake, you can just go ahead and wipe it off really quickly before it actually starts to set. And you can start over, so it's not too hard. I know some products, when you do lay them down, you can't really, clean up after yourself in case you make a boo-boo, if you will. But with this one, it was actually pretty good. I did do a couple of little mistakes here and there, and when I did, you know, I was able to kind of go ahead and fix that. And sorry about the door, that was my husband scaring the bejesus out of me. He does that every now and then. He scares me, I scare him, and then we both laugh. So here I am going to be adding the second part of the wording, where I'm going to be adding the word and the word love. At this point, I've let the, you know, the modeling paste dry. It's been sitting out for at least an hour, give or take. I didn't really, you know, keep too much track of the time. I just kind of like got myself distracted with something else. So an hour or so went by, and then I came back and it was dry. So I'm moving on to the next phase. That way I don't mess up, you know, what I've already laid down. If you have a heat tool, then by all means use that. Don't waste an hour when you could be crafting. But for me, you know, that's the option that I have. So I have to let everything kind of air dry. So I kind of cut the cards down a little bit smaller, to allow me to get a little bit better into, like, you know, the little grooves, because this word is a little small. So I just wanted to make sure that I covered it all well. So I cut a little piece of the card off to use for that. And again, applying very smoothly, trying to be very even with the coating, and just picking up little tiny dabs of the modeling paste itself as I'm pushing it through the grooves. And you don't need to apply too much force, it kind of falls right into place. So that was, you know, another bonus. So I'm going to be using the word love as you see me pointing out here. And I'm also going to be using the little squiggles that you see next to each, to the word love on each side. I'm going to be placing those squiggles, you know, on the four corners of the pic, you know, of the frame. I'm kind of debating with myself, where do I want to place this? Where do I want to place this? Hurry up and pick the corner. You know you want to put it in the corner. Nope, not there. Over here. That's right. That's where you want it. So here we go, and this is going to be between the word and the little squiggles. It's going to be the last of this, you know, the stenciling part of it. And then we'll be moving on to more fun things, which is my anticipated moments, what I've been waiting for ever since I opened up that box. I'm actually going to be placing this in my daughter's room. My daughter's room, because I have two daughters. I thought it would be nice to kind of like put that over their bed. Kind of like inspire them to be open in life and to dream big and to unlock every door that seems closed. If you want something bad enough, there's always a way. There's always a way. I know I've been praying for like supplies forever, and right around my birthday, they kind of came through for me. Yeah, you gotta be really careful because, again, you know, everything kind of blends in with everything else, so it's really hard to see after a while where you've actually put down your paste. So just be, you know, aware of where you're stenciling. So we're almost done here with this part. And then once I let this dry, then we're going to be moving on to the metallics. So hang on with me there for a while, and you're gonna see what a beautiful result this comes out to be. And I think that you'll be very happy and very eager to try this yourself. So I was thinking about adding more words to it, but then I decided against it. I'm like, I think it's pretty good just the way it is. Um, so once I finish making up my mind, I'm going to add the final little, swirl, and then we'll be letting this dry and then moving on to the next step. Yeah, so you can see I kind of messed up a little bit there. Um, and I didn't lay down enough paste. So when I went to, kind of look at it, I'm like, this didn't seem right. And actually, it's not so much that I didn't lay enough paint. I think what I did is that I overlaid it over the key because, as I said, once it dries, it kind of blends into everything. So I went ahead and just, added a little bit more and wiped that one away and did another one. And since this does stay wet a little longer, you're actually able to kind of go into it as long as you don't wait too long. But you do have some time to kind of wipe the mistake away and do another, fresh coat. So at this point, I'm happy with how this is looking and where I think that this whole piece is going. So I am going to go ahead and let this dry, and I will be with you as soon as this piece dries and we're moving on to the next step. So now on to the long awaited moment with some baby wipes so that you can go ahead and spread some of this wax down. Also, you can use a dry napkin, which I will be using at a later point, but for now I'm just going to get all of these jars open, and this is the effect that I was showing you. I actually did this yesterday. I kind of rubbed it in different various places. Some of the colors actually blended in together, like the red and the gold. Actually made like this metallic orange color, which is really pretty also. So I'm not gonna go ahead and say that they're fully blendable, but I will be trying that technique in a later video just to see how many varieties of shades I can get by blending the different waxes that I have. But do you see the consistency of this? I mean, doesn't it look like you can almost eat it? I mean, it looks delicious. It's very frothy. I mean, it's really, really nice. So I'm just going to try to use some of the reserve that I have on the lids themselves. And I'm just going to start laying some of them down. The first thing that I'm going to do is actually go over some of the elements, the stenciled elements, like the key and the word and, all the little raised areas. So I'm going to cover those first in various colors. But you can see just how rich it kind of comes down, and you could actually lighten it up, which is why I wanted to use the baby wipe so that I can actually lighten up some of the tones. And this with this also, you can actually clean up if you have any boo-boos. You can get a lot of it off. Like in this keyhole, for example, I kind of went into it with the gold, and that's not something that I wanted to do. So I just kind of went in with the baby wipe and just cleaned up that area more or less. So you're just gonna see me more or less applying, like I said, various shades all over the place, and I'm really like excited about this because I loved how it came out. Once it was all said and done and all together, I mean, I just love the way that it came out. Everything just starts to kind of come to life, and with such a high gloss and sheen. So I have my basic elements more or less covered. So now I'm just gonna go around and again apply different colors to different areas, and just kind of smooth them out, and spread them out as you know, in various, you know, various directions, and trying to blend in some of these colors, but not really too worried about the blending part of it right now. I just want to more or less get a nice, you know, coat everywhere, and spread everything out nicely, and just get a nice, you know, centerpiece kind of form with everything kind of meshing together. Now I want everything to look like one, so my goal was to try to get, you know, everything kind of smooth into every color, smooth into every other color. But you can see, I mean, you can see that such a high shine that it has. I mean, it's a beautiful wax, and this will go great pretty much on anything. Could you just imagine, you know, different all the different decorations you can add this to in your house? I mean, you can make so many different things. This is like definitely the go-to, you know, item, especially if you're going to refurbish something and you just want it to look really nice and high end and really expensive. I mean, this wax will do the trick, and they actually have various colors. Um, so they're not limited to just the four that you see here. I mean, they have blue, they have black, they have coral. I think that they just added a new one, which is the rose gold, which is really pretty as well. But they all, I mean, there's just a variety. There's a large variety of different colors that you can get. So, and again, I'm using this to cover the entire piece because I wanted this whole thing to kind of look metallic, but you can do it, you know, you can use it as an accent. I mean, for like when you're making cards, I mean, you can pretty much, like I said, add it on anything. There's really no boundaries from what I can tell when it comes to using this wax, especially because when it dries, it does not come off. The only way that I believe that it would come off is if you actually like go into it with maybe like a Brillo pad or you know, some kind of heavy duty cloth and some water and some soap, and really, you know, made a job of taking it off, then, you know, probably it would come off. And I don't think that that would work on all surfaces, just some surfaces like glass and things like that. But I mean, I just love it. I mean, I just love how it came out. You can see all that shine. And the green, I mean, I love the green. I love the green. So I'm just adding, you know, different little color elements to different parts. You know, trying to make it all one piece. So I'm gonna be, you know, crossing some of these colors and adding a little bit of here and a little bit there, just to kind of make it all look, you know, unison. And keep in mind, always when you're applying these wax, especially with like what I'm doing, you always want to start in a new, you know, with a new piece. So folding, you know, your napkin or your wipe over every time you're gonna go back into it, just so that you don't contaminate it with other colors, because this is a very potent product, um, and you just want to make sure that you keep everything, you know, unless that's your thing. I mean, that's, you know, completely up to you, but for the most part, I try to keep everything, you know, as sterile, if you will, as possible, and I didn't want to contaminate any, you know, cross contaminate any of the colors. So I'm just adding, you know, different elements here, different colors, and yeah, I mean, as you can see, this has just been awesome. I'm actually gonna try to get what I think what might be a good idea to use with this, is actually, like, you know how they have the eyeshadow applicators, they have the two sides. I think that that would be good, especially for like those small little areas, to have like that spongy, and maybe just keep one, you know, per jar, so that when I'm going into these small little areas and I just want to add like that little detail of that color in that specific spot, that I can use that. I was thinking about it actually while I was making this, but I didn't have, you know, access to it. So that's definitely something I'm going to invest in. I think it's like $1 or something like that, and you get quite a few of them. So next time I go to the dollar store, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out for that. And as you can see, you can actually fade it out some and still keep that shine. So you can either go from completely wiping it away to kind of just bringing it down, you know, a few tones. I don't think that you should mix this product with water. I haven't tried that, but I don't think this is the kind of product that you want to go ahead and mix with water. Um, if you want to lighten your tone, then just damp a cloth, or like I said, a tissue, and try to lighten it that way. I think you'll get a better result than mixing it with the water. See, as you can see, I just wanted a little hint of the color. I didn't want to overwhelm those areas, those open areas. And here I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some with my fingers, with my fingertips, and kind of like rub that in. And it wipes away rather, you know, rather easily as well. With a damp cloth, you can wipe it away. So I'm just giving it in certain areas a little bit of a stronger value by going back into it with certain, you know, with different colors, um, just accentuating everything. And I can't wait to show you guys the other projects that I have in mind. This Latin song of mine, Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, I want to more or less go into so many different things. I mean, I have so many different ideas. I think I was up to like 2 in the morning yesterday, just jotting down um, all these different things that I want to show you guys, and things that I want to try out, and kind of, you know, it's like an experiment for me as well, because I'm new to all of these products. So I think it'll be fun to, you know, work with them and show you guys, and also, you know, see for myself all the different techniques and all the different things. So actually, this is wire. This is like the wire that you use like when you're gardening and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be cutting a piece of this wire off so that I can use it, so that I can hang, you know, the picture once it's done. So I'm gonna be crazy gluing that to the back. You probably won't see me do that, but that's more or less what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just crazy glue it. You can hot glue it if you want. But I'm gonna put some crazy glue and glue it down, and actually put a little bit of tape over it, which I'll probably, you know, paint in, or something at a later time. But right now I just wanted to get the piece done. So the next thing that I'm gonna do, which I don't think you're not gonna get to see, because the video actually was really blurry, so I kind of had to take it out because it wouldn't focus with all of the sheen. Um, with the metallic Expresso color, I'm actually going to use the fine line, and I'm going to go over all of those edges, all of those, you know, all of those raised edges. I'm going to go over them just to give it that outline. So I'm going to outline every single letter and every single detail that is on here. Right now I'm just adding a little bit of water so that every now and then I can just go ahead and dip my brush, so that just in case it's a little bit, you know, it gets stiff, you know, so I can loosen that up and just keep working. But you're not gonna unfortunately get to see me do that. I'll make sure that on my next video it focuses well, and I'll double check on that. This part you'll be able to see because it's black, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the Americana Black and just go over all of the outline of the frame itself. So I'm gonna cover up all of this cork board edges, and I'm gonna paint them in black. So that's what you're gonna see me do on this part here. And I think that we're gonna be almost done with this video. So for the most part, if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything that you saw from the actual you know, revealing video that I did when I received the products and I showed you guys everything, if there's anything that you see there that you would like to see me use, then by all means let me know. I know I have Crafty B12 that asked me to kind of do a demo on the dimensional paste that they have, so I'm going to be working on something with that. But in the meanwhile, anything else that you guys saw that you would like to see, You know, if you have any ideas for any projects for me to do or anything like that, then please, you know, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to accommodate. It's gonna be one fun summer with all of these different products and all of the different techniques and fun things that I'll be able to create, and hopefully you will be able to recreate at home. I strongly urge you to go to Deco Arts and check them out. They always have sales going on, and a lot of their stuff you can get for a really nice price. I know I just saw some of their stencils for like $1.50. So I mean, like I said, go and check them out and visit them often, because they do have a variety of items that are constantly going on sale. Um, and you can catch a lot of great bargains, and that way you can do some of these things at home as well. This is like my first real life tutorial, so if you guys have any pointers for me, any useful criticism, I take that as well. I want to grow as an artist, and I want to be able to also grow as an instructor. That way you guys can also learn from me, if possible, and keep teaching forward. So this is all about giving and taking, if you will. And I hope that this serves you guys well, and that the video was informative, and that you got a lot out of it. And hopefully my ramblings didn't drive you crazy. So yeah, this was really fun for me, and I hope to make many more like this. But again, I take useful criticism. I have no problem with that. Anything that'll help me grow and learn, I'm all for it. So I'm not a stubborn mule. I do actually absorb and take in and adjust, and evolve. So this is what this is about. This is like the evolution of elemental designs, from the closeted artist to somebody who's actually putting stuff out there, putting content out there. And for all of those that are following me now, and they have been following me for a while and have been checking out my videos, and leaving me such wonderful comments, I want to say thank you so much, because it's really inspiring to me, and it really motivates me to kind of cross new horizons, if you will, and try new things, and kind of break this shyness that I have about speaking and demonstrating and all of those things. So I want to say thank you so much for all of you that are there for me. So what I'm doing now is pretty much using the fine liner brush in order to just add more details to all the different dimensions of the stenciled areas. This is gonna allow the image to actually come off a little bit more from the background. It's gonna give it that extra pop. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of add all the little linings to everything. And you wanna actually do this by just very gently allowing the brush to kind of glide along the grooves on the inside as well as the outside. And I'm going to be doing this to all the elements except for the ones in the corner, which are the little swirls. we're almost done with the actual outlining of all the letters and the image of the key on this piece. And once we're done with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and just add just a little bit. I'm gonna rub in different areas of the remaining, colors left over in the cap, which you're gonna see me do a little further down. And once that's done, I mean, all that's left really is just to kind of glue the little ring that I'm gonna put on top of the frame to kind of hold it, and we're all done. I'm just using up whatever's left over in the cap itself. But you can kind of see that everything kind of pops a little bit more. The words kind of stand out a little bit more. The elements kind of stand out a little bit more. The only thing that I didn't really go over with the fine line was actually the little swirls on the corners. I kind of left those as they were, um, kind of like secret little elements, if you will. But yeah, we're about done. And then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna crazy glue the wiring to the back of the frame so that I can hang it. And actually, as we speak, I already have it hung up. Um, and yeah, this has been an awesome, awesome, awesome process. Thank you so much, Decoart, for the wonderful products that you have sent me. And thank you to all of you for watching and taking the time out of your day to dedicate a few, moments and sharing with me. Um, and I really, really appreciate it. And much love to everybody out there that's watching. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. But I think for this part, we're about done. So I just really want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video and leaving me any kind of positive feedback. I really appreciate that. Look forward towards other videos that are going to be coming, in the next couple days and weeks. Pretty much this summer is going to be a very busy summer because I'm going to be creating many things, and I hope that you will join me and follow along. And pretty much this is it for the piece. I loved it. It came out beautiful. Only thing I'm going to do now is just attach the backing, and that's it for this. At the end of the video, you're going to see some pictures of the final product, which I think will give you a better look of the dimensions and everything. And yeah, so Happy mixing, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good one, guys. Bye.